Breaking news out of the United Kingdom. From Buckingham Palace, we are hearing news involving the royal family. King Charles III has been diagnosed with a form of cancer. Let's get straight to CNN's Max Foster. So, Max, what are you learning?
Well, it follows off the back of the King's medical treatment that he had at hospital for an enlarged prostate. A separate issue of concern was noted there, according to Buckingham Palace, and subsequent tests have identified a form of cancer. So it's being told that the King has commenced a schedule of regular treatments, during which he's been advised by doctors to postpone public-facing duties, so we won't be seeing him. Throughout this period, His Majesty will continue to undertake state business and official paperwork as usual, so he remains head of state and will be able to carry out those key duties, but we won't be seeing him in public. I'm told the King is grateful to his medical team and the recent hospital procedure which made this diagnosis possible, and he remains positive, we're told, about his treatment and looks forward to returning to public duties. He's chosen to share this diagnosis to prevent speculation and in the hope that it may assist public understanding for all those around the world who are affected by cancer. Additionally, a source telling me they won't be sharing any more exact details at this stage, but they do want to note that it's not prostate cancer, as some people prostate. And I know that the King's also returned to London. He was at Sandringham, his country estate.
Max, it was rather notable that when the King went into the hospital for this enlarged prostate, that he did make that known. There was a certain understanding that the British public deserved a level of transparency. And we should underline here that, according to Buckingham Palace, when King Charles went into the hospital, it was for, they say, a benign prostate enlargement. But this cancer diagnosis is a separate issue, according to the palace. Talk to us about why the King has felt this need to be transparent with the British public.
Well, I think there are two separate issues you can look at here. So he didn't necessarily have to announce that he was going in for a test for a benign enlarged prostate because it wouldn't affect his public work, and they do feel that the royal family has a right to privacy, particularly when it comes to medical privacy. So that was very much announced because he wanted to raise awareness of the issue, and it had a huge impact because there were a lot more inquiries to hospitals about prostate concerns. This they did have to announce because it is the head of state with a serious medical issue, which cancer is regarded as, of course, so it does affect how he may carry out his public work, which is why they're also emphasising he is able to do his key constitutional duties, which are those of head of state, signing in new laws, opening Parliament. He'll be able to, the mechanics of the constitutional monarchy continue, so there won't be a threat to the public, but he won't be carrying out his other public duties and where he's seen as a figurehead, as it were. It is interesting, I have to say, Alex, that today we had a note from Kensington Palace, which represents Prince William, saying that he would be resuming his public duties. He's been off work looking after his wife, who had had an operation recently. And I think that the messaging there is that the Constitution does continue. Prince William will be stepping in for King Charles in his absence.
And Max, this has been a rather remarkable period for the royal family in terms of health issues that they have decided to communicate to the public. He was in the hospital at the same time as his daughter-in-law, the Princess of Wales, and she has just left the hospital.
She has, and that had to be announced as well because it was an operation, so the public had a right to know that. She has left hospital. She's now recuperating at home. A huge amount of pressure on Prince William at this point because he's there to support her and his children, but now he also has to step up as the next in line to the throne. So he will absolutely be expected to represent the King now, although it has to be emphasised this isn't a regency. A regency would be when the monarch was incapacitated and would have to hand over official duties of state to Prince William. That isn't the case. This is just everything outside of that. So Prince William very much becomes the figurehead, the public figurehead now of the monarchy, whilst the king is out of action publicly, but carrying out his work behind the scenes. Also, Queen Camilla would be expected to step up as well to show continuity, because monarchy is about continuity of the head of state, of the monarchy. So people need to represent that in the absence of the king's presence. So it will be very alarming to people in the United Kingdom, but they've sent out a very carefully written note. I'm going to get more information as well to reassure the public that the monarchy is still intact and the constitution continues. But a huge amount of concern will be raised about what it means, particularly when we have such a slimmed down monarchy anyway. And now we also have three of the four senior royals, two of the senior royals out of public sight, and two having to pick up all of the public-facing duties.
We have been seeing some video of the king leaving the hospital. Again, that was on January 29th. He only became king last year, of course, Max, and he has been rather active. So how much will the British public notice as he scales back his duties? How much has he actually been undertaking these various royal engagements?
Well, he's extremely busy. He takes his work extremely seriously, and he is absolutely dedicated to his work. I can say that as an impartial journalist, because I follow him. And when you compare him to other royals, he's doing so much behind the scenes, but you also see him very much in public. So this, as you point out, is his early monarchy, more important than ever that he's seen out in public, establishing himself as head of state and replacing Queen Elizabeth, who was iconic in her role and a very big shoes to step into. So this is significant for his monarchy. He won't be able to represent the monarchy in the way he'd hoped. And as I say, a huge amount of responsibility now for Prince William to step up and really show that the monarchy is still strong. We did see King Charles at the weekend, and he looked really healthy. It was just a still photograph of him, and that was sanctioned, I think, by the palace. So I think at the weekend they felt very confident, and he looked very confident when he left the hospital. So I think this will be a real shock to the family and to the palace, and there will be a lot of work behind the scenes to try to make sure the mechanics of the system continue, and that the king is still able to carry out that really crucial official paperwork, because without the king being able to sign documents, the constitution literally grinds to a halt. You can't, bring in new laws. You can't appoint prime ministers. You can't get involved when there are serious matters of state. So it is crucial, and they will, frankly, have to be considering, what does happen if the king gets more ill and isn't able to carry out even those central duties. So that would be where the regency would come into effect. And as an insurance policy, they will be considering that at this point, but that's a very well-rehearsed, regularly rehearsed practice anyway. So I think that's just a matter of ticking a few boxes and expecting Prince William to very much step up.
And we are looking at live pictures outside Buckingham Palace. It is just past 6 p.m. in London right now, with the news from that palace that the King of England, the King of the United Kingdom, King Charles III, has been diagnosed with some kind of cancer. They are not saying what kind. He has just left the hospital several days ago after being treated for what they're calling a benign prostate enlargement, during which time they noticed a separate issue of concern. Max Foster, I'm going to ask you to stand by. We'll get back to you when there's more news. In the meantime, I'm going to toss it over to Boris.